December 16th, 1944. The cold of the Ardennes bites deep, harsher than any winter the soldiers have known. Snow blankets the landscape like a shroud, and thick fog clings to the forest floor, muffling sound and distorting shapes. The Allied soldiers scattered across the front lines believe the end is near. The war for them is winding down. Home feels close, but that illusion is shattered in a heartbeat. From the east comes a sound, a low rumble, growing louder like thunder rolling over frozen earth. But this is no storm, it's steel. Dozens of massive King Tigers, Tiger II heavy tanks, begin their advance. Their engines roar like beasts, and their armor gleams beneath frost. At over 68 tons each, they are nearly indestructible from the front, armed with the lethal 88mm KWK cannon that punches through Allied Shermans like tin cans. This is Operation Watch on the Rhine, Hitler's final gamble. The goal is to split the Allied forces, drive through the Ardennes, capture Antwerp, and force a negotiated peace. And leading the charge are the King Tigers. Inside one of these iron monsters is Oberfeldwebel Karl Voss, a seasoned tank commander. His hands, wrapped in leather gloves, tremble slightly, not from fear, but from memories. He fought in Kursk, survived the brutality of the Eastern Front, and now he's told this push will change the course of the war. Break through, no retreat, no hesitation. His crew, young and battle-weary, silently prepare for what's to come. As they roll forward, they crush saplings, snowbanks, and the remains of abandoned foxholes. Trees snap like matchsticks beneath their treads. In their path lie small American towns, icy ridgelines, and soldiers unprepared for the wrath about to be unleashed. The 106th Infantry Division is among the first to face the storm. Caught in thin lines with little armor, they're overwhelmed in hours. The radios fill with panic. Tigers! They've got the big ones! Soldiers retreat, vehicles burn, and positions crumble. In towns like St. Vith and later Bastogne, the King Tigers lead deep, deadly penetrations into the Allied defense. Their size alone is terrifying, but it's their slow, unstoppable presence that shakes morale. As the tanks press on, the roads beneath them freeze, choke with snow, and narrow between thick woods. German infantry follows behind, advancing quickly but with growing unease. Because with every kilometer gained, their fuel lines grow thinner. The King Tigers are terrifying, but they are thirsty monsters, and their lifeline is fragile. Meanwhile, civilians in towns like Stavelot and L'Église hide in basements as the ground trembles above them. Glass shatters, walls collapse, homes once safe are now part of a battlefield. American bazooka teams try ambushes, firing from alleyways and upper floors, but their shots bounce off the Tigers' thick frontal armor. Only from behind or above can they do real damage. Air support would help, but the skies remain closed, covered by relentless storm clouds. At a critical junction, a narrow, snow-choked crossroads, a young American lieutenant named James Foster faces an impossible task. His unit, less than 80 men, is all that stands between the advancing Tigers and a key supply road. Foster, once a schoolteacher in Ohio, now commands soldiers who haven't slept in 48 hours. They are freezing, hungry, and afraid. But they dig in. They lay mines. They stack debris into barricades. They ready Molotovs and say quiet prayers. And when the first Tiger appears, emerging from the fog like a ghost of iron, they open fire, not expecting to win, only to delay. For 2 days they hold. One tank is damaged by a mine, another slips off an icy road and tips into a ditch. It's not much, but it's enough. Reinforcements arrive. The line does not break. But behind the German front, trouble brews. Fuel shortages become catastrophic. Allied engineers blow up fuel dumps and block roads. And on December 23rd, finally, the skies clear. The roar of Allied thunderbolts and typhoons fills the air. Columns of German tanks and supply trucks are bombed relentlessly. The roads, narrow and muddy, become graveyards of burning steel. At La Glaise, Kampfgruppe Piper, one of Germany's most elite armored units, finds itself encircled and out of gas. With no hope of extraction, they do the unthinkable. They destroy their vehicles, over 135 in total, including King Tigers, and flee on foot into the forest. The great push stalls. The dream of splitting the Allies dies in the snow. Yet the battle rages on. In Bastogne, the 101st Airborne holds firm under siege until Patton's Third Army breaks through. The Germans fall back, their losses mounting. The Battle of the Bulge ends after 6 brutal weeks. It is the largest and bloodiest battle fought by the United States in World War II. Over 89,000 Americans are wounded. More than 19,000 are killed. But the line holds. The Nazis' last great gamble fails. The war will continue, but the tide is irreversible. As for Karl Voss, he survives. Captured weeks later, he is no longer the proud tank commander of the past. He tells an American guard, "We were lions with broken claws. We roared, but we could not run." His words capture the fate of the King Tiger, an engine of war too late, too flawed, too burdened. Today, one of those tigers still stands in La Glaise, its turret frozen, its armor rusted. Tourists pass by, snapping photos. But for those who understand, it's not just a tank. It is a relic of power and failure, a reminder of a time when the ground shook with thunder, not from storms, but from giants made of steel. When men, both young and old, stood firm in snow and blood, and history hung in the balance. Based on true events, Battle of the Bulge, 1944. Dedicated to the soldiers who stood firm in the snow,